Where is our society headed? Our society? Towards eating each other up. It's gonna radicalize. Yes, as it says in the book of prophets, that will eat each other up. Literally. Because the situation currently is, as you say, there's darkness. There are very big stigmas about everything coming from the Torah because people are doing, in the name of Torah, horrible things. What Torah do they have? Torah is love thy neighbor as thyself. After a person keeps that, attains that, he can say that he's doing things in name of the Torah, out of love towards others. That's called to do things in the name of the Torah. This is how I understand it. This is what I understand from the wisdom of Kabbalah. If they didn't study the wisdom of Kabbalah, how can they behave correctly? To me, it's clear where it comes from. And I also don't understand why are you so impressed by it? Yeah, but it happened one right after the other. First of all, I see no proximity. Proximity in terms of time in our world, I don't see anything. If it happened in Alaska and the other happened in Australia, there's no longer proximity, maybe even if it happened at the same time. And if it happened also in different times but in the same place, also no proximity. These are things that are unrelated, different reasons, different people. And therefore, you can't put these things together. And also to cry out, why are we that way? Today, we're ready for things which are much worse, because no one educated us to be good. No one. Look at the media. Look at everything that is presented to us, everything that's being poured on us. It's a wonder that we're still in this situation. But eventually, if we're already in this situation, on the one hand, we have to start our education and tell everyone that we really are going to get education and show the kind of education that we're going to get on the one hand, and also bestow this education onto the rest of the world. Look what we can give you. An education for connection, love, which is the savior of the world today and nothing else. And on the other hand, things that are going on here, we have to tell the nations of the world it happens because we're just like you. We're like you. And you shouldn't treat us by other standards. And it doesn't matter whether they accept it or not. What, we're not like you? We're like you. You always have complaints towards us. So have complaints. You have complaints because we're not giving you the method of correction. A force that corrects us and brings us to a better level in life, to a better state in life. But actually, I don't understand. How could it be that someone from some other nation, and all the more from our Arab neighbors, would come and complain, look what you did? What are we doing? We're doing the same you're doing. So what's the problem? What complaint do you have? Where do we have this feeling from that even though that it is if disconnected from reality that we're supposed to be better? Remnants from our previous state. That's it. Where truly we do have to be good. We have to be an example for others, being connected between us in love, in a good and nice connection. That this is how we have to be. We have to be light unto the nations. It's something that exists in us someplace. It still does. It's still there in the genes, but not in our education, not in a revealed way, not in the behavior. Look what's happening on the roads. Look what's happening everywhere. Check how it happens in each one of you. How much we're all the time in competition. That means that I love someone. Am I in competition with my child too? Really, the tendency is to point at the other, saying that he's the problem, if it's the ultra-Orthodox Jews or someone else, and you're saying that everyone, including the president, including those pointing at the problem, should point inwards and say the hatred is in me. No, I'm saying about the government something completely different. They are to blame for what's going on in the nation. That's why they're the government. The president is the representative of the people, and if this is what his people do, he has to ask himself, what can I do so it won't happen to my people? He's calling for self-scrutiny. Calling himself too? No, in general. Nah, that's nothing. That's just yelling. Forgive me, it's idiotism. He has to change the people. How do you change the people? Through education. Otherwise, how is he president? How is he the father of the people? What kind of education? Of love thy neighbor as thyself. What does it mean? Simply so, to educate everyone. How should we exist between us? What is the order of relations between us, ties between us that should exist in our society? And to educate it means until habit becomes a second nature. This is what the wisdom of Kabbalah tells us. Love thy neighbor as thyself isn't something that new. True? What does it mean then? It says so from the days of Abraham. So you're saying that the new thing we have to do in order to correct the situation is to educate to love thy neighbor as thyself. Yes, I'm sure that if we'll make a general survey, don't even give me the results. I don't care. No, I'm trying to understand what's the innovation you're offering. You're saying, I have a solution. Let's educate to love thy neighbor as thyself. The innovation is the education. So can you explain? What does it mean? Because on the headlines it sounds like things already being done. Am I talking about the headlines? Am I talking about their sayings? I'm talking about a system that has to be built in schools, in universities, at working places, through all the media, in a way that it obligates each and every one to undergo this educational system at working places, kindergartens, schools, pensioners, and unemployed. No one gets nothing from the state. No one gets, suppose, a signature that he is fine with the taxes, with the social security. He doesn't get anything. He gets nothing. It's like in school. If you don't pass the exam, if a person doesn't pass the exams of love thy neighbor as thyself and is a part of this system from the beginning to the end of life, till its end, he goes into hospital, God forbid, the system exists there as well. And you have schooling there too. He's being arranged in tens and some kind of a mechanism. What do you mean by tens? Workshops, practical implementation, where he's taught how to correctly behave, how to find the right connection with others. Without that, we will not advance towards becoming the people of Israel, and our future will become worse, God forbid. So are you optimistic or pessimistic? Me? Depends on our president, not on me. I'm asking you, are you optimistic or pessimistic? It depends on the free choice of the people. It's their choice, not mine. And unfortunately, I see no change in this direction. So you're pessimistic? In the meantime, yes. And therefore, I won't be surprised if there will be worse cases. So, what do we have to come out of this show with? Just with one thing. What will we do so it won't happen tomorrow? And not just cry out because of what happened, say nice words.